I know.
Did somebody sign up?
Oh, I think so.
There's a silence falls to the crowd.
Oh.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move on to the roll call.
Mayor Steve Kane,
Present.
Councilmembers Richard Orphan,
Here.
Rich Skordoff,
Here.
Chris McClish.
Here.
Tim Brown.
Here.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for adopting tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Brown makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. McClish. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I'll now entertain a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Mr. McClish makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Orphan seconds. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting tonight's consent agenda signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to meeting opened by the public. Barb, did anyone sign up to speak?
No one signed up before the meeting.
Okay. Then we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 2016-01, approving the appointments for 2016. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I have one question.
Yes.
I noticed we still have, where'd we go? Northwest Associated Consultants as the planning consultants, and our plan is to keep them as a consultant, but only use them as needed, correct? Now that we've taken on additional staff that can help with that job?
That is correct. They would be kind of working on the transition of our internal staff.
All right, sounds good.
They have a lot of history.
That's why I was asking, to make sure we kept that history.
Mr. Orphan?
When did the discussion take place for all these? Is now the time to discuss changes to this, or like one thing that comes to mind is in the packet, there's 2 newspaper quotes, and one of them is free. I guess as far as why we don't choose that one, and when did the discussion take place on every single one of these things? Is that with the mayor and staff, or is that supposed to take place now?
Well, we can have a discussion with it, but it's generally the mayor makes the appointments.
Okay. And then, I guess, is there a reason we're choosing not, like that one that's free? I haven't been to their site at all, but they're posting for Anoka County. They're gonna post our stuff anyways. Is there a reason we choose to go with the Anoka County Union? Did they provide us something else more tangible?
Well, they have a print edition, and many people don't want to go on a website to look at things.
Okay.
That's part of it. There's a number of different things.
The other one was, I'm still talking about the other quote, but you could pay to get it shipped to your house, is that correct? Like, so if you wanted a print edition, you could get one.
I'm not that familiar with
Okay.
the, as far as that goes.
I guess would like to have us consider, I don't know how much we spend on posting, it's gotta be in the thousands of dollars, and if we could save thousands of dollars for nothing, I think we should consider it.
Well, the record has not always been our friend either, quite frankly.
Okay. As far as being accurate about what is taking place here?
Mhm. Generally, the public prefers Anoka County Union. When the Anoka Board of Commissioners made that change, there was a huge outcry.
Okay.
So people prefer the Anoka County Union.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we adopt resolution 2016-1, approving the appointments for 2016.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. Is there any further discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, all those in favor of passing resolution 2016-01, the appointments for 2016 signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Now moving on to ordinance 213, second series, amending ordinance 208 of the city of St. Francis, Minnesota, annexing land located in Athens Township by Sandy County, Minnesota, pursuant to Minnesota statutes 414.033 subdivision 2, in parentheses 3, permitting annexation by ordinance. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Mr. McClish makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Orpik,
Aye.
Mr. Skorda,
Aye.
Mr. McClish,
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Motion passes. Now moving on to resolution 2016-02, a resolution authorizing summary publication of ordinance 213, second series, amending ordinance 208, second series, annexing land located in Athens Township by Sandy County, Minnesota, pursuant to Minnesota statutes 414.033, subdivision 2, parentheses 3, permitting annexation by ordinance. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion we adopt resolution 2016-02.
Mr. Skorda makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brown. Is there any discussion before I call for the question? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of passing resolution 2016-02 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to reports of consultants and staff members. Our finance director, special assessment policy.
It's just in your packet, I know it was brought up about changing the special assessment policy, and right now I'm just recommending that we kind of leave it. We're gonna try and bring back this year, overall policy, maybe doing like Elk River franchise fee instead of doing special assessments. We're gonna look into that. They've been really successful with that program, or doing something, looking at whatever else we could do to fund our street projects going forward. You know, at any point that we do a street project, you always can look at it on an as needed basis. So if you want any more information, a lot of times, like this year, the bond issue was only for 10 years, so the special assessment coincided with that. It was a small issue. And so you don't want to be like extending those special assessments out past the bond issue. If you want more information, we can get it, but like I said, we're trying to work on it, we'll come back with something for streets so that we can get these streets done as a needed basis.
Does anybody have any questions?
Can you just describe the franchise fee real quick for us?
What it does is Elk River has gone and put a franchise fee on the electric meters and the gas meters in the city. And so they all pay a set fee every month that goes into a fund at the city of St. Francis, or at the city of Elk River, sorry. And it's there to pay for street improvements. They don't do a tax levy, they don't sell a bond, they don't do special assessments. They've been very successful in it. I went to a thing that Abby put on, and Tim Simon from Elk River came over. And I know the city of Rogers has started this, they're starting January 1st. Tim actually says it's not a matter of if the street is going to get done, it's when is the street going to get done, because they're paying for it all along and they generate the funds and they're there. So it would be nice to look into it and see what would happen with something like that in the city of St. Francis.
Do you know, are they set amounts per, everyone pays the same, or is it based on your square frontage?
From what I remember, what Tim said, they had a set amount. I talked to the lady from Rogers, and they had to do a percentage, because there is a percentage in the law. And I think XL Energy said, no, this is going to get to be too big of a percentage for some people. So I haven't checked into it anymore, but like I say, if the first one that I've heard of it was at Elk River, and they have had a wonderful success with it.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the people who are on do have special assessments of the property, they can get refunded the franchise fees once a year until their special assessment is off. That's how you account for the special assessments on our properties. But eventually they'll have no more special assessments. I don't know if that's something you guys want to look into. It'll look like it worked really well for Elk River.
You're looking for direction on this?
We're going to bring something back. I talked to Joe on it, and I talked to a little bit with Paul, and we're going to try and come back and give you more details, and maybe even have Tim offered that he'd come over and talk to us and tell us their process that they went through.
Okay.
You guys are willing to look at that?
Council?
Definitely.
Yes, I would like to see that.
Okay.
Well, we're going to approve this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darcy. Okay, moving on to the fire department, or fire chief succession plan. Chief?
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. In your packets, I attached the requested succession plan that we've been kind of working on since I've been here. We're kind of really in the process, but as you've read, some stuff that we've been working on. A couple of things at the bottom that we haven't got to yet, but we're still looking forward to throughout in between all the recruiting process and stuff that we've been working on. So I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Council? Mr. Orpin?
Oh, you go ahead first.
No, I just wanted to say, I think a lot of this was probably developed before I came on board, but I really this is really what y'all are doing. I think this looks like a very, very good plan to try to get some folks the education and the skills they need. I like this bulleted list of things you're trying to knock off. I think, good job if you're successful. And
We're trying to do a lot of the free stuff that's given by the state or Homeland Security to try to help with their budget.
In the interest of transparency, it'd be nice if there would be a list of like every officer, every one of these bullet points. Did they do this? Yes or no? Because at the end of the day, if somebody comes and says, I'm not qualified for the chief because he didn't give me this training, well, here's the list. And yes, you did, or no, you didn't. Because I read the list and it could be just one person you're talking about doing every single thing. And that's not really the whole point of the plan, I believe. It's just get multiple people qualified for the job. And so I'd be nice if the council could be presented with a list of who's done this current stuff or who will do it and kind of when they're going to do it. That's kind of what I want from a plan, is just a timeline, like who's going to do what when. And then after that, then they can do this and that. And then just so that we know everybody's on the same page.
And it is offered to everybody at this time. And I guess I'm holding them accountable to take it upon themselves to take the training or better themselves. And there's 2 or 3 that are doing it so far.
As far as the training goes, is it, you said some of it's offered in-house. Is that offered multiple times? I know these guys are just volunteers and it'd be nice if it was offered more than even twice, just to accommodate the work schedules and.
Yeah, there's training throughout the state, and some have been traveling and take this training.
You're talking about the free training at the.
Correct.
Okay.
In-house, we have either day or night. That's our basic training group, really.
Okay. And then how many of these things have been, I guess, were implemented by the previous chief or by you, or kind of?
Most of it's been by me, just some of the new stuff that we're trying to do, and our officer group has talked about the stuff we want to do. Tabletop, we haven't done that yet, but I have done like something like that. We're doing like scene size stuff throughout the group, and the whole department that did that.
Like role play kind of?
I took pictures of different buildings throughout our city, and had everybody go around the room and do scene size up and incident command and all on people.
And then, how many, was that the entire department that goes through that kind of stuff, or is that just select people, or?
That one was the whole department. Some other ones are just officers that are going, people that are interested.
And then is there, how are you addressing the budget in this when you talk to the people? Are you sitting them down one-on-one going, here's what happened, here's what's brought before the council, here's what we need to do next? Because I know one of the things in here was the fire truck, which was, I don't know, if you could explain how you use that as an example, because that was purchased well before you were here.
Right, so coming forward to you with some of the change orders and how you go about doing that. I had to come present that and just some different changes. And then budget, we went over once or twice in officer meetings on what's involved and how we can't spend money, why we have to wait till next year and that kind of stuff.
And that's just an officer meeting that you go over the budget with? And
Generally,
how many officers do we have?
5 currently.
Okay, and they're all present at all of them, all these budget meetings?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I have no further questions. It's just, I would like, and I don't know if the council agrees, to see a plan of who the officers, who the firefighters are who are actually receiving the training. Just in, like I said, so we can be transparent as possible here.
Okay, anyone else?
No, I just want to add that this is the kind of stuff I like. What are we doing to make people better? Good job. I'm not around up here 5 days a week. I don't see what you guys do day in and day out. This is the kind of stuff I like to see. Thanks.
Mr. McClish?
I'd just like to say that our fire chief has been doing a really good job. I know I saw him at the open house,
Mhm.
firehouse, so it's really nice to see the chief present there, so keep up the good work.
I'm in agreement, you're doing a great job.
I am too, and I'm really glad to see this. This should help us and help the current firefighters climb high enough to be able to take over as fire chief and keep it internalized. And it's good to see one here today. So with that, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. Joe, you're not down here. Do you have anything tonight?
Just the animals and fowl
Okay.
provision.
That's coming up here then. Where do you want to move that to now?
Other than that, I mean, I will be presenting that anyway, so we can move on. Or
All right, we'll do that in a few minutes. Okay, reports from council members, Mr. Brown,
Nothing this evening.
Mr. McClish,
Nothing.
Mr. Scordo.
I have one thing. Before we met, a young gentleman from the middle school was here, and he didn't sound, he was not too enthusiastic about being in front of a podium. So I'll read a little bit of what he wanted to come to the council with. He was tasked with identifying a problem and coming up with some solutions. So his problem, and I think it's a good one, or it's one that he identified that I think has got some merit. There's no place to swim in this city. So he would like to see a place where folks could swim. You go to the river, you go to the lake, you don't have any options really outside of those two. If we had a pool someplace, someplace where people can swim in the winter and encourage family time, helps people stay healthy in the winter. People like me could really use that, although I don't know if you'd want to see me at the pool. It's fun for everybody, helps people unwind and relax. And also people on swim teams can practice or swim around, as he says. So I think you've got at least one supporter for, the plans that we're trying to develop with some other folks in the city for a rec center. I just wanted to bring that forward. He was here before we started, and like I said, he didn't really want to come and address us during the public mic time, but so that was his, what he wanted to bring forward. So there you go. Otherwise, I have nothing else.
Okay. Mr. McClish,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Brown,
Nothing again.
I have nothing.
Mr. Orpin. I get mixed up which way I'm going. Just testing to see if you're awake. Report from the mayor. The only thing I have tonight is the mayor's snowmobile ride is going to be February 6th. Kicks off at 10 a.m. at the Anoka County Fairgrounds. I think we'll have the application on the city website soon, so you can get it there. It's before that date, it's $10 per person to sign up. After that date, or the day of, it'll be $20. So it's going to be a fun ride. They're going to go from there. They're going to come out here to Beef O'Brady's and have lunch, and then end up the ride down in Ramsey. So if you have a snowmobile or you know somebody, please spread the word. Saturday, February 2nd. That's all I have. Let's move to old business. Mr. Chiller.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, staff brought back the city code language on animals and fowl. I know that this got brought up at a previous meeting, and so staff wanted to just point out the animals that were prohibited on less than 5 acre lots, and get any direction from council, or just to update council as to the specific language, and then provide staff with any direction from here.
Council, yes, Mr. Harper.
Well, I guess I'm the one who brought this up, and what I was more looking for is somebody brought to my attention that we had allowed this previously, and it was kind of a mess. And I guess I wanted to get some information about that. And what else would be kind of nice is to kind of talk to other cities that have recently implemented this, because it's kind of a new thing, and see how it's been going. Like, is it a lot of people taking advantage of it? Is it a nightmare for staff to monitor? Is it bad for the neighborhoods? That kind of stuff. Because with just what we got, it's what was presented in the packet. It doesn't really persuade me one way or another whether or not we should allow chickens in city lots.
I can work on getting you the historical context from the minutes and everything when this was brought up the last time. And then if you would like to work on that with city staff and just kind of see if it gets any momentum from there after you review the context which this was created in.
Sure.
Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else, Mr. Scordo?
So then, if we were, how should I ask my question? If we were going to do anything, this would go to the P&Z commission, right? This is kind of a land use thing.
Potentially, yes, it does come out
Because
of
to me,
the
that's where the
zoning.
discussion needs to take place with, I don't know. I assume if we were going to do an ordinance change, there'd be a public hearing. That's where the public hearing would be. I don't think this is necessarily where you make the edict that, yes, we should change this, or no, we shouldn't. P&Z, they need to be involved in this, right?
Yep, and that's what Mr. Orpin was correct. Some of these animals were allowed previously. Then it went to P&Z, and P&Z recommended that we prohibit them, and it went to council after that for the full code change. So that would be the order of operations, if you will. But this probably happened, within the last 10 years anyway. So I can get that information to Councilmember Orpin, and we can discuss it from there and see if it gets any momentum.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? Moving on, is there any new business? Mr. Brown?
I'm not sure if it qualifies as new business. I know in the past I've let know my disappointment with ordinances that we pass in here all the time, and they don't seem to get enforced. About 600 feet from us, well, back up a little bit, we have an ordinance about hard packed surface for boats, trailers, and RVs and such. And about 600 feet from where we sit, there's a semi-tractor and trailer sitting in a second driveway in a house. A large boat in the backyard is not on a surface. And I'm wondering, you know, the curb alone is going to cost us probably a fortune to replace it, because I know, and I think Paul can attest to that, our curbing is not designed to support semi-tractors and trailers. And I think it needs to be a stop put to it.
Mr. Coleman?
Would you mind if I contacted you and we discussed this further, specifically which property and everything?
You'll see it right when you walk out the door.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, we stand adjourned.